sorry, just watching.
One more time.
Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that wonderful? Now, considering that this man was not a concert violinist, nor did he ever perform in public before a year ago, it's been 2 years, I guess, and well, or somewhere in that neighborhood. I think this is just amazing, and here he is, one of us. It's great.
And a scratch golfer.
And a scratch golfer.
Yes, he shot 71 yesterday.
Oh, wow, that's great. That sounds great. Now, we have a new resident, well, she's sort of new to a lot of us, who's going to read, and she volunteered for this, and I'm thrilled to death. Florrie, would you please read?
Get there.
I know. We've all been there, or we will be. It's okay. We're delighted to have you.
Yes, would you like a copy?
Beeno's a rather hard act.
Would you like a copy of your
That's scare me without this, Mike.
Chris. Paul.
And be sure you put it like this, honey. That, yes, so you can talk right into the top of it. Otherwise, no one can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yes.
Well, I like poetry with reservations. I recall the elegies and the need that we had to commit to memory some of those things that we were in high school and early college.
Can't hear you, darling.
Something which we didn't understand at that time. But you remember Thanatopoulos?
Right.
Greek?
Right.
However, the easiest ones to recall are the works by Robert Frost. And I have 2 short poems by Robert Frost. 2 roads, this is the road not taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood. Sorry I could not take them both and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent into undergrowth. Then I took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted where. Though for that, the passing there had worn them down about the same. And both that morning equally lay, leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I marked the first for another day, and knowing how the leads our way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, some ages and ages hence. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made the difference. My second one is stopping by the woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods are these? I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it strange to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there's some mistake. The only other sound, the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Thank you so much. Florrie.
And Glenn is going to read us something from Ogden Nash, and I know it's going to be interesting. Well, I love the poetry.
Okay, well, forget the messenger. It's just keep quiet and nobody will notice. There's one thing that ought to be taught in all the colleges, which is that people ought to be taught not to go around always making apologies. I don't mean the kind of apologies people make when they run over you or borrow $5 or step on your feet, because I think that is sort of sweet. No, I object to one kind of apology alone, which is when people spend their time and yours apologizing for everything they own. If you go to their house for a meal and they apologize because the anchovies aren't caviar or the partridge is veal, they apologize privately for the crudeness of the other guests, and they apologize publicly for their wife's housekeeping or their husband's jest. If they give you a book by Dickens, they apologize because it isn't by Scott. And if they take you to the theater, they apologize for the acting and the dialogue and the plot. They contain more milk of human kindness than the most capacious dairy can. But if you are from out of town, they apologize for everything local. And if you are a foreigner, they apologize for everything American. I dread these apologizers as I am depicting them. I shudder as I think of the hours that must be spent in contradicting them. Because you are very rude if you let them emerge from an argument victorious. And when they say something of theirs is awful, it is your duty to convince them politely that it is magnificent and glorious. And what particularly bores me with them is that half the time you have to politely contradict them when you rudely agree with them. So I think there is one rule every host and hostess ought to keep with the comb and the nail file and bicarbonate and aromatic spirits on a handy shelf, which is don't spoil a denouement by telling the guests everything is terrible, but let them have the thrill of finding it out for themselves. Do I have time for
I think we have time. Yeah.
one more?
Fine, one more, and then we'll let.
Okay. This is called Possessions Are 9 Points of Conversation. Some people, and it doesn't matter whether they are paupers or millionaires, think that everything they have is the best in the world just because it is theirs. If you happen to own a 1921 jalopy, they look at their neighbor's new deluxe convertible like the wearer of a 57th Street gown at a 14th Street copy. If their 17-year-old child is still in the 3rd grade, they sneer at the graduation of the 17-year-old children of their friends, claiming that prodigies always come to bad ends. And if their roof leaks, it's because the shingles are antiques. Now, there are other kinds of people who are the opposite. Other people, and it doesn't matter if they are Scandinavians or Celts, think that everything is better than theirs just because it belongs to somebody else. They're the opposite, you know. If you congratulate them when their blue-blooded Doberman Pinscher wins the obedience championship, they look at you like a martyr. And they say that the garbage man's little rover is really infinitely smarter. And if they smoke 15-cent cigars, they're sure somebody else can get better cigars for a dime. And if they take a trip to Paris, they are sure their friends who went to Old Orchard had a better time. Yes, they look on their neighbor's ox and ass with covetousness, and their own ox and ass with abhorrence. And if they are wives, they want their husbands to be like Florence's Freddie. And if they are husbands, they want their wives to be like Freddie's Florence. I think the comparisons are truly odious. I do not approve of this constant proud or envious to-do. And furthermore, dear friends, I think that you and yours are delightful. And I also think that me and mine are delightful too.